Welcome to the debate. We are opening our discussion today by confronting what is an undeniable organizational crisis in Toronto. It's a crisis that really came into focus just a few days ago following the trade of coveted defenseman Quinn Hughes to the Minnesota Wild. That transaction, it hasn't just shuffled the defense market. It has fundamentally forced general manager Brad Treliving to pivot his strategy dramatically. He went from seeking the home run, that franchise-defining piece, to now being constrained to securing what the material calls a safe double.
And that's a huge part of it for sure. But while that shift in thinking on the blue line is significant, it's happening against the backdrop of a frankly far more serious problem. And that's the mysterious and really concerning offensive decline of Auston Matthews. So we're not just talking about finding a replacement defenseman for a need that's always existed. We're analyzing which foundational crack Treliving should pour his very limited assets into repairing first. This is a question of strategic priority that is going to define their entire season.
Absolutely. The central question defining the Maple Leafs organization right now is this: should they prioritize spending their limited, highly valuable assets on acquiring a defenseman like Rasmus Andersson, who could, finally solve their persistent blue line needs and provide some long-term stability? Or must they focus those assets entirely on an elite winger to immediately reignite the sputtering offense and, crucially, unlock Auston Matthews' production?
And for me, it's not even a close call. I maintain that the crisis surrounding Matthews' underperformance is the fundamental threat to the team's championship hopes. It requires immediate, urgent offensive intervention. The defensive stability Treliving wants, well, it can wait. It has to wait until the team's identity as a contender is secured. Right now, the captain and the offense are just struggling too deeply to ignore.
I understand the gravity of the situation, I do. But I come at it from a different angle. Acquiring Rasmus Andersson, particularly if Treliving can engineer a long-term sign-and trade, is the necessary and I think achievable structural step. It stabilizes the roster, it completes the defensive puzzle for the next half-decade, and it provides the foundation you need while the team tries to sort out the complex internal stuff with the offense. You secure the certain foundation while you diagnose the complex illness. My position is really rooted in solving a defined structural deficiency with a specific high-end solution. The acquisition of Rasmus Andersson, pending UFA from the Calgary Flames, represents a solvable long-term organizational need that Treliving has to capitalize on immediately. The market scarcity after Hughes was traded means that if Treliving wants a true puck-moving right-shot defenseman, Andersson is maybe the only high-quality chip left on the table that offers any long-term upside. We know the team needs a defender who can consistently move the puck, create offense from the back end, and, move play swiftly from defense to attack. Andersson is a unique fit for Craig Berrude's system because he marries that offensive transition skill with the necessary defensive elements. He has the grit, the high compete level, and critically, his zone exit skills are elite. Those zone exits are absolutely essential to bypassing the opposition's forecheck and enabling that aggressive, quick strike offense Berube wants. More importantly, the possibility of a sign and trade for 6 or 7 years solves the right side of the defense for the long term. This is a true franchise piece, an anchor, not just a rental. He could play alongside Morgan Riley or Jake McCabe for years to come. And Treliving's personal connection with him, having been the GM who brought him into the league in Calgary, well, that provides a crucial negotiation advantage that has to be leveraged now, before desperation drives the price completely out of reach.
That's a compelling argument on his technical fit, I'll give you that. But I think focusing solely on defensive structure right now is a huge strategic error. It's prioritizing a necessary component, defense, while ignoring the primary systemic failure in the organization. My thesis is that focusing precious assets on the blue line, while the offense is fundamentally broken, is a dangerous distraction from what the material calls the real organizational crisis. Simply put, no defensive move, no matter how substantial, will lead to a Stanley Cup if the team's $13 million offensive centerpiece continues to underperform like this. The evidence pointing to this crisis is clear, it's alarming. Matthews is not producing at the elite, game-breaking rate the organization expects, and he isn't making the impact required of a captain earning that salary. We know from insider reporting that the organizational belief is that the Leafs want to help get Austin Matthews going.
I mean, that statement itself is the most damning indictment. The team isn't focused on adding a final piece. They are actively debating how to resurrect their star. The severe internal debate over where to spend assets suggests the core is not performing at a championship level. If Matthews were dominant, this defense versus offense question, it wouldn't exist. They'd just be adding the last layer. The move to shift William Nylander to the top line is an explicit organizational test. It's a last-ditch tactical maneuver to see if the offense can be fixed internally. If that test fails, the need for an external elite winger becomes paramount. It overshadows any defensive acquisition. If your primary scoring engine is dead, repainting the hull is a moot point. So let's really confront the core tension here using the evidence we have. I argue the internal crisis, Matthews' undeniable statistical decline, and the resulting organizational doubt about the core is a far more serious and immediate problem than any defensive deficiency. Matthews' slump requires immediate asset expenditure on an elite winger who can jumpstart his production. Without that intervention, the season is lost, Andersson or not. And when we talk about his decline, we are talking about tangible metrics. His rate of primary points per 60 minutes at 5-on-5 has dropped significantly below his career average. And maybe more alarmingly, the quantity and the quality of high-danger scoring chances he is generating they've dried up. You can have the best defense in the world, built by Andersson, but if your top 6 forwards can't generate sustained offense against playoff defenses, you are not winning the Stanley Cup. Why would you invest so heavily in a safe double preventing goals when you fundamentally lack the ability to generate enough offense to begin with? It's a completely unsustainable imbalance.
I acknowledge fully that the severity of Matthews' decline is the most significant long-term threat. I don't disagree with your analysis of the statistical drop-off at all. However, I frame the pursuit of Andersson not as ignoring the offense, but as prudent organizational risk management. We are securing the safe double, a concrete structural improvement, while the team attempts to fix the deeper, more complex issue internally through that Nylander test. The Matthews slump is multifaceted. It could be chemistry, it could be a confidence issue, or a deeper mechanical failure. It's not necessarily solvable with one quick, expensive trade for an elite winger who may or may not even fit the existing structure. If Nylander sparks Matthews as Treliving hopes, well, then the internal solution is found. Treliving can then confidently pursue Andersson, stabilizing the team long-term and entering the playoffs with some balance. But if they wait to acquire Andersson until they see the results of this Nylander test, they risk losing him entirely. The UFA clock is ticking down fast, and as you pointed out, the market is severely thin. You have to stabilize what you can stabilize now, the blue line, while you wait for the outcome of the internal diagnosis on the offense. And this discussion really leads us to the strategic value of long-term certainty in a perpetually unstable franchise. This organization has spent years chasing defensive solutions, often settling for rentals or, stopgap measures. We need to emphasize the profound long-term value of this potential sign and trade. A 6 or 7 year commitment to Andersson isn't just filling a roster spot. It is a massive strategic bet on the organization's future structural stability. It solves a persistent decade-long problem on the right side of the defense. This commitment is substantial, and it projects proactive, visionary management. It gives the fan base a cornerstone piece that can handle heavy minutes alongside Riley or McCabe. This is about building a sustainable, cup-contending framework, not just finding an immediate band-aid for one particular slump. You build the house foundation first, even if the interior design needs some work.
I'm sorry. I just don't buy the long-term rationale in the face of an immediate crisis. Let's aggressively